Good afternoon, Melissa here, and I'm coming in for the fourth week of the Free Training Tuesday on a November to Remember, and I'm super excited because the engagement and the messages that I've been receiving, this has definitely been the training that a lot of you have been seeking and looking for to really create the business and life that you deserve and creating it by design. So thank you for joining us live, and if you're on the replay, thank you for watching as well. I'm talking to you today about failure and productivity, and I know all of us can relate to that. Let me introduce myself. I am Melissa Kirkpatrick, the business and life coach that you may have been seeking and didn't know it. I help those individuals who are seeking a strategy, a plan, way to really move themselves forward. Accountability and setting intentions as my two secret sauces, and I love to inspire men and women to really take care of themselves and get fully engaged in what it is they want to create in their business and their life, and paint the path so that you can do it easily with abundance and prosperity, joy and excitement. And that's what I do. I'm the motivational speaker and author and coach that just loves to be able to support others. And so if you're interested in that, go ahead and message me. We can talk more outside of this. But today we are talking about failure and productivity. So let's talk about failure. Okay, so all of us at one point have experienced it. I get it. Think about when you were little and you were learning to walk and you would take a few steps and fall and take a few more steps. You know, that to me is not titled failure, but it could have easily been looked at as failure. Like, okay, I'm not getting up. I can't do this. When we're small, young, even young adults, we don't necessarily have the programming to know what success is or what failure is or what good is or what bad is. We're developed over time. We're programmed to understand what all of that means. And then we start labeling things. And when we label things in the feeling that we're bad or not good and we failed and we're just not ever going to be better than what we are, that's where you stay. That really, I talk about vibration all the time, the higher vibration and the lower vibration. It's about you really seeing how your okay. When we get in that energy, that lower vibrational energy, thinking things are a failure, things aren't working out, if only I would have, if someone would have saved me, those kind of things, you get more of that. It really is true. And as much as you maybe don't believe it, I want you to start recognizing when you have a pattern of things that happen. So for instance, maybe you yell at someone and it really is over the stupidest things. Like most of the time it's your spouse don't put their clothes in the hamper, right? So you're yelling at that person for not doing the task when you know all along they never do the task anyway. But if you back up and say, what am I really mad about? What is really triggering me in this moment that's causing me to have this outburst? Oftentimes you will find it's something else, something other than what you thought it was in that moment. It can go back an hour, a day, 3 days. But because you're holding that negative energy, that vibration of not feeling good, that's when you have this trigger and you respond. Now, I know that doesn't relate to necessarily the failure and productivity. I just want to give you kind of a baseline to understand how we program ourselves. We have limiting beliefs. We don't understand things, and we just try to bury that stuff in the sand, stick your head in the sand. And I want to open you up to this concept of failure because this is the framework of what most of us think is a bad thing when really it's a good thing. We learn from our failures. Look at all the inventions. Those inventors didn't give up. The light bulb would never have been here if he would have given up on the first, second, third try, right? It took like 10,000 tries before it actually worked. So all of the high-end gurus, the billionaires, they all talk about the failures in their lives. When Michael Jordan didn't make the basketball team or got cut from the basketball team, or when other billionaires invested and lost everything and had to start from scratch. When people just lost not expecting to lose and then came back even bigger, better, stronger. Like there are stories. You can Google stories about people who have had failure in their life and how they've overcome that. And so what we're talking about too is, how much do you learn from the failure? What you learn from it's going to determine how far you're going to go, how much more success you can create. So prior to what I do today with business and life coaching, motivational speaking, way back in my 20s, I was an executive secretary and I was great at it. And I didn't leave that profession Just because I failed, I left that profession because I leveled up into being a high school IT teacher. And when I left the IT teaching platform, I went into owning and operating golf courses. And then I left that business to go into coaching and supporting others on their journey. So none of that's a failure, right? I talk about it as if it was a level up. It was the next thing to do. However, when I became a high school IT teacher, I cried every night when I came home. I thought, what did I do? I've spent all this money. I've got the education. I'm scared to death. I don't know if I'm making a difference. I don't even know if I can do this. And then the crying every night led to I'll drink 2 or 3 beers so I can just calm my nerves, get up and try it all over again. And it was a struggle. And I did feel like I was failing. And I did fail, I'm sure. I'm sure there's students that would say, you didn't serve me like you served someone else, or you didn't help me. And, it took a while. But by the second year, I was all systems on go. I didn't have to cry every night. I didn't have to drink the alcohol. I just showed up every day knowing I wanted to make a difference, knowing that I wanted to change their lives. Same thing with the golf course business. I didn't know everything I needed to know. Hell, I found out I didn't really know a whole lot. And there were failures. There were failures with employees. There was failure with money. There was failure with a lot of things. But I didn't let that stop me. And that's where I was saying how much I learned from the failures is how much I started creating more success. So it's really about, if this didn't work, if I failed that attempt to do that, then what can I do differently next time? Can I do anything to improve upon what I was trying to do to begin with? Or do I need to change directions and go another way? So failure is always a constant reminder that we are attempting, we are making opportunities, we are striving for more. So when you can change that definition, that dialogue, or that word of failure is, and if I fail, that's okay. I'm not a bad person. It doesn't change the player in the game. The game may have changed, but the player has not. You still have this desire. The definition of failure is that lack of success. That's why it feels so bad when someone or you feel like you failed. And it's a lack of success, and it's only because of the missing out of not doing what was required to take action. So even if you're on a pathway of not being successful, you can still pivot and change your actions and your intentions. You can get accountability and support. You can talk to someone that's in the industry or in the business or doing what you're doing. Like we clam up versus saying, okay, I feel things are not going in the direction that I want, and I'm afraid I might fail. What can I do differently? And that's the key. Asking for the support, asking for someone to help you, because we're so good at numbing out, going unconscious, not doing the things we need to do, taking advice from people who don't need to be giving us advice, trying to duplicate or copy something someone else has worked years in trying to accomplish. I always talk about success as 10 years in the making. Maybe 5 years in the making, but success doesn't necessarily happen overnight. It's all the experiences and learning that you've taken into that moment of success. And what is success? If you want to make 6 figures and you hit that, are you going to just stop there and go, okay, I got what I need? No, chances are you want to double it or quadruple it or 10x it. And then what happens when you get to that? The success can even result in failure if you're not careful. So what I mean by that is success in what you are able to handle. It's like the upper limiting problem we talk about, hitting the glass ceilings. You've got to expand and grow with every opportunity, with every failure, and with every success. Otherwise, you're going to shrink, and you don't want to shrink. And you might go out of business, or you might do something that you didn't plan. So just keep that in mind when we talk about being able to do the required action. And that limiting belief is often limiting beliefs often will keep us thinking, well, if I failed once, I'm going to fail again. No, if I failed once, I'm going to, shame on me. If I fail a second, or was it, if I fail once, shame on you. If I fail twice. It's about you really equipping yourself, getting yourself in a space that with your emotions, with failure, doesn't have to be, it's a bad thing. It's get back up, dust yourself off, and reassign or realign yourself to what you can do differently to make it better. Because somewhere in that failing, you had some success too. So be sure to reflect back on that as well. that I started the business, I got the income, I got the clients, I'm selling the merchandise, I'm doing the service, right? There was success. And then all of a sudden it might be, oh my gosh, the money ran out, the clients aren't there, the customers aren't coming in, the orders have stopped, like whatever that is, remember where you started. And I have to help a lot of my clients do this because it's hard sometimes. What was my why? What was my why to leave being an executive secretary, moving into being a teacher? And what was my why from leaving teaching, going into owning and operating golf courses? I tap back into that and I remember my why I'm doing it, not why people think I should do it. And that gives you the opportunity to say, I've been very successful. I've been given the opportunity to do this and I'm doing it. So emotions, let's talk about emotions a little bit with failure. Like I was talking about that lower vibration versus the higher vibration. You immediately come to feeling sad or hurt. Everybody knows. And the thing is most people don't know. You only tell them they only know what you tell them. So if you're not telling them I'm failing at this career path, they're not going to know that. You can paint the image that everything is going well, but behind the scenes, get the support that you really need so that you can successfully get out of that rut, get moving forward, gain momentum again, scale your mind, your money, and your momentum. That's one of the things that I train on. And it is so amazing to watch individuals get out of their own way when they're thinking about, I'm scaling. It doesn't have to hit the target. I'm just moving inch by inch, little baby steps, getting there. And so feeling good with the emotions that come with failure is the way you flip the script. And the other thing is, if you've had failures in the past, don't dwell there. They're done. They're over. All you can do is pull out the little gold nuggets that you know that says, should have done that differently, could have done it differently, wished I would have known, and come into the arena with just those gold nuggets and don't dwell in the past. Because when you get back there, you are stuck and it is really hard to get out of there. And then you start measuring everything. Well, there was that one time, there was that other time. And honestly, for me, it's weight loss. It's taking care of my health. I have been on this never ending roller coaster with it. And there's some years in my life that I was totally fit, healthy, looked great, felt my best. There were other years not so good. And then there's years that's like, oh, I don't feel good at all. But I've learned to accept if I'm not going to put in the work and take the action, then I'm not going to do it. Because failure for me has happened multiple times in this health journey that I'm really thinking about, like, where's the reason? It's that if I fail every time I try to take care of my health and wellness, what's going on? And most of the time it's because other things are going on, taking my time, my attention, my priorities. And that's it. I've not made it a priority. So find the time to really reflect back. That's what I like to help clients with as well, is we can go down the path of what was happening back there up until now so that you can let a lot of that go, release it. Because when you try to hold on to it, it just causes, over time, it's going to open up, it's going to explode, it's going to cause you more anxiety. And so having that safe space, that non-bias, that non-judgment, for someone like me to be able to hold that space for you to just vomit out everything that keeps you mad or angry or up at night, or you just want to rehash something, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to let you speak your truth, and I'm going to let you figure out how to shift that for yourself. Okay, so when you have failed, think about it too. Sometimes it's a one and done, sometimes it's a couple of different times, but failure, again, is accepting that as medicine for your soul, accepting that for you being able to use what you learned to move forward into the next venture, the next action step that you're going to take. Don't look at it as I'm done. Look at it as, okay, now let me see if I can fail again by doing this differently. And that is, the circumstances and situation is what's going to help you make the plan. So if I'm not losing weight or taking care of my health, my environment is probably one of the first things I would need to change. Do I ever change the environment? No. I have a husband who eats and does whatever he wants, and he is not about to eat broccoli and chicken. So I use that as a setup, as an excuse. But if I change my environment and not worry about what he's eating and not having to cook and do things for him, then I'm able to stay in my lane and do the things that I need to do. So it's making that plan of, if this didn't work, what can I do differently? What can I do next? Right now, I'm just talking about I need to get a good amount of protein in my system, and I do need to keep drinking lots of water. That feels good to me. I'm going to do that. See what happens. Okay. So just remember the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That to me makes so much sense now, especially. And also, failure is not an option. Keep doing what you know to be doing. And if it feels like it's about to fail, then make the changes necessary, get the support that you need, and really allow yourself to keep working towards the success part instead of the failure. Now, the other part of this is productivity. And this goes with failure because, actually, let me just make sure. I haven't been looking at my notes. So with failure, to summarize, some of the things that you can do is remember that mistakes or failures is an opportunity to grow and to learn from. The other thing is be careful how you talk to yourself, the limiting beliefs, because you're listening. So make sure that you're talking more success than what didn't work or what the failures were. And it's also, we're products of our past, but you don't have to let those mistakes define you. So whatever mistakes that you've made, they don't have to define you. It is what it is. And the enemy of success versus fear, or versus failure, is fear. So let yourself know that fear is false evidence appearing real. You don't have to hang on to it. You can make changes with that. And also know it's hard to do it alone. And getting that support is going to make all the difference, whatever that looks like for you. And I offer 30-minute discovery calls and conversations so that you can figure it out, or we can communicate in Messenger. All right. Now, for productivity, this is how you can get out of your own way when you're starting to realize that things aren't going in the direction that you had hoped that they would go, that you're feeling like you're failing. So the production or productivity is you're aware of it, you've recognized it. And the biggest thing is distractions. And so when we talk about distractions, where are these distractions coming in that's not allowing me to be productive? We all know social media. It can suck time so quick that it's unbelievable. We also know that we have a snooze button, a snooze option. That can hurt you too in your productivity. Not planning, not really having a plan for what you're going to do the next day or that evening. I talk about brushing your teeth and taking your makeup off and going to bed at night. Like, that's a hassle for me. And my skincare person said, well, take it off when you're done for the day. So if it's 6 p.m. and you're done and you're getting ready to go in and watch TV or whatever, take your makeup off then. And that sounds so simple, and it would be more productive if I did that. But no, I wait till I'm almost dead tired, ready to fall into bed and be like, oh, I didn't take my makeup off and I didn't brush my teeth. It's those kind of things. It's getting really clear. Watch yourself for a day. Write it down. Videotape yourself. Something, just so that you know what you're doing throughout your day, so that you can be more productive and let go of some of the things that you're doing that's taking away from your productivity. If you go onto social media or even check your email, that's like a rabbit hole. You get down in there and it just starts a whole chain of things. So maybe limit when you can go on to social media or your email. Maybe not even do it the first hour of your morning. See what you can do in your morning. This was huge for me because we had the stray cat come up on our property. And so it was forcing me to go out in the morning and the evenings to feed this cat. And then she turned up pregnant. There's a whole story there. We got 5 baby kittens I got to get rid of. But what it is actually coming at the right time, divine timing. This cat showed up for me because when I would go out to feed her at the lake house, it was one of those things where it caused me to pause. And it caused me to look at her and look at nature and how I saved her. And the sun's coming up and, just the leaves are changing, the water on the pond, the fish, there was just so many things that if she hadn't shown up in my life when she did, I wouldn't have experienced that. But what it also did is it didn't make me start my day, jump out of bed and look at social media or look at my emails. I was able to go right outside and take care of her first, which was actually taking care of me. So find ways that the productivity is you feel good first, and then you're going to be more productive for the rest of your day. Minimize any distractions that happen. So if eating, your health and wellness, again, if you're trying to lose weight, that pan of brownies sitting on the counter is probably not going to be in your best interest. So minimize the distractions of when I walk through the kitchen, I don't want to see food. I know there was years ago, someone talked about putting a sign on your refrigerator, kitchen closed, or, turn out the lights in that area so that it's closed like a restaurant does. And then maybe you don't eat after 6 p.m., that kind of thing. So again, minimize the distractions that are keeping you from being productive and maximize your time management and your project planning. This was one of the things that was hard for me because I'm kind of a shoot from your hip kind of girl, and I want to do things on the fly. And once I do it once, I want to do it different the next time. Like, there's so much story around all of that. But when I worked with my coaches and they gave me an outline, they gave me a plan, they started showing me ways that I could be more productive without using the excuse that I'm a procrastinator or a perfectionist. I got to drop those two words and you start using plan. I'm a planner. I will plan for the next thing. Now, oftentimes I wait up until the last minute, but now I know how to plan more successfully. I know how to strategize and master my time management. And it really is a matter of, I'm going to go in and plan for this event. I'm going to give myself 45 minutes. I'm going to set the timer on my phone, and I'm going to shut down any social media that might be running on my computer, and I'm only going to do the things that I need to do. And it has served me so well. And if I don't have that much time, just change the timer. Just know. And I even have alarms on my phone that I set timers and say, have you drank water today? It might go off at 4 o'clock and it's like a reminder. Or maybe get up and walk for 30 minutes. Like, I have different things in there that will remind me. And so that helps me to be more productive as well. And you can hit the snooze on that, because if it's like, get up and walk outside for 30 minutes and I'm in the middle of something, I'll just snooze it. So then I'll come back to it and then I'll go do the thing. Because if that makes me feel good, that's going to help me in my productivity. I hope that makes sense. If you have questions and you're watching this, be sure to put them in the comments. I can't see the comments while I'm doing the live. So those of you that are watching, thank you for joining us. But always take this information, take away what it is that you gain from it and let go of the rest. None of this is, in stone. It's not everything has to be that way, but I'm sure you've heard something today that's going to allow you to do things differently in your life so that you can avoid failure, not in the sense that you won't fail, but in the sense that you won't make it bad, that it's a learning opportunity for you to strive and move forward. And the productivity is being able to use your time strategically so that you can really get more done. And the rest of the day, you'll feel like you've accomplished stuff. When I stopped taking calls and doing things on Thursdays and Fridays, that made a huge difference. It opened me up to other opportunities. It let me say, I'm a hell yes to this or a hell no to that, because it's not a part of my normal work schedule. And then Saturday and Sunday is about family, about me rejuvenating, about self-care. And if I want to take a call with a client on a Saturday or go do a networking or event, I'll do that. But it just took away that feeling with my productivity that I don't have to do all the things. I get to choose and decide. So make that something that you really look at. When you start planning and doing production, you're going to see that you get good at it. It's a rinse and repeat. And the other thing that I want to mention is when you are in productive mode, you're more of staying on the offense and not the reaction. And I thought that was a great play on words that I read this because sometimes we get in the middle of everything and it's just going so fast and we're just reactive. But when we actually plan, we can be on the offense and we're like, oh, I know that. Okay, that feels good. Nope, I don't have that on my schedule today. Nope, I'm not planning to do that. Like, you control your time of when you're going to be productive, and then when can I talk. I used to try to fit people into my schedule like, oh, I got 15 minutes here or a half hour here, and it was like, no, when your availability is. You need to work on things here, and it could be your laundry or cleaning your house or going to the grocery store. Like, those are part of your productivity regardless of what you do. Schedule them in, make time for them, and get yourself raising your energy, your excitement, and your vibration so that all these things feel good. Because that's it. When I work with someone or even giving these presentations, if you don't feel better after you've heard my talk or you haven't picked up one little tip, I've not done my job. But I've become very confident over time that motivation and inspiration are the two things that really lead us forward. It's when we get in the self-defeating mindset, when we start putting those limiting beliefs on ourselves, we're going to stay stuck and stalled. And believe me, that is not where you want to be. You want to create your life by design. It is possible. Get out of your own damn way. Keep showing up here. Keep watching the videos. Rewatch them if you need to. And message me if you want to have that conversation to see how I might be able to support you and unlock that one thing that you're struggling with. Because we all have one thing that is really gnawing at us. And until we can shine the light on it, get it out of the shadows, we will continue to keep producing the same results. And it's that insanity concept that I keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Stop the insanity, get the support that you need, stop playing the game of thinking everything will work out. I don't have to do anything, and recognize you do have to show up. And as my friend Carol says, you have to show up, dress up, and do the things. And I want to support you with that. And that's why I'm giving you these trainings, because I know for me, when my coaches came into my world, this was the type of support that I desired, I was thirsty for. And once I hired them to be my one-on-one coach, that's when the things really started to change. And I've had a coach in some capacity over the past 12 years. Investing in yourself is sexy. Procrastination is not. So if you're ready to go into 2022, bigger, brighter, bolder, being ready to receive a more abundance and prosperity, and just really know your confidence level and your ability to grow a business and live your best life, this is where you need to be. And this is where I want to help you. Divine timing is everything. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I hope today you've taken away something about failure and productivity. I'll look forward to talking to you next week when we wrap this training for November up. And I know that the replays are here, so just be sure to take advantage of that. As always, my friend, I'm sending you tons of love, lots of light. I hope you'll keep shining. Remember, we're building our lighthouse in the bedrock so that we can give others, but we need to start with ourselves and really get planted and grounded in what it is that we're doing in this lifetime. So I will talk to you soon, but bye for now.